Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cindy. I tell stories in The Sims and help you improve your gameplay, and today I'm doing a Sims 4 news video. This wasn't the type of video I planned to make today. I haven't really been making many Sims 4 news videos lately because honestly, I just haven't really cared about any of the Sims 4 news that's been coming out. Kits, I think that's all. But this was pretty interesting. I just sat down to make my Harvest Fest video, which I will be postponing until tomorrow now. And I jumped on Twitter and someone had tagged me. What do you call it when somebody ats you on Twitter? Man, I am old. Somebody tweeted at me that there is story progression coming to The Sims 4. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. Okay, that must have been part of the Sims 4 live stream that I declined to suffer through today. What is this? What's going on here? One side of my mullet is longer than the other. You never know what you're gonna get here. So anyway, I'm making a video to talk about story progression coming to The Sims 4. Let's talk about it. So of course, my very first reaction to hearing story progression coming to The Sims 4 is, oh crap, it's going to destroy my game. So personally, I'm not a huge fan of story progression in The Sims games because I am very controlling and I like to play all of the Sims in my worlds and control everything myself. I do like story progression in The Sims 3 at times. It can be a lot of fun and it really seems to work in that game, but I have to use mods in order to get it to work the way I like it to, and there's also a great deal of effort that goes into turning it off properly in The Sims 3, and that's what I'm worried about here. Is this going to be something that takes over my game and takes even more of the control out of my hands? I don't know. I am just hearing this news. I don't know anything about it. We're going to find out together and I'm going to tell you how I feel about it. I am not going to go watch that, what I assume is a very dull live stream on the topic. I'm just going to read the little blog post that The Sims 4 posted, introducing neighborhood stories, bringing new life to the neighborhood. The Sims 4 has so much that your Sims can see and do, leading to interesting and often unexpected life moments. All these life moments add up to something very important. Life change at an individual level. Well, that's what we want, right? That's what we want. My team and I have been exploring ways to carry that same kind of life change to the world of The Sims 4 through neighborhood stories. Okay, so far sounds good. Neighborhood stories are a set of gameplay moments that all revolve around a single purpose: bring more life to neighbor Sims that live outside the active household. So I think there are three kinds of people right now. Three kinds of simmers. One type of simmer is going to be extremely happy about this. This is the type of simmer that only plays a single legacy, a single family, and they would love to see the families outside of their active household and move on and have lives without their input. There's the second group of simmers who are neutral to this and don't really care or don't even play The Sims 4 anymore. And then there's the third group, which I think I am probably a part of, who don't like my Sims to do things without my permission, outside of my control, and are feeling a little bit wary about this. I prefer to play rotationally, which means I want to play every household in rotation, and I don't want my Sims acting without my input. Even though I am a user of MC Command Center, of course that you must be if you play The Sims 4, I turn off all of the story progression stuff so that my other households don't progress without me. But let's keep going and see what else this has to offer. Neighbor Sims refers to most of the NPC Sims in the game, not just ones who live on the same street as your household. Neighbor Sims excludes special NPCs such as the Grim Reaper. So we're getting a new terminology here, Neighbor Sims, which I would have previously called townies or playables. But that's another argument we're not going to get into today. There's a lot we want to do to add more life to Neighbor Sims, so we're rolling it out over more than one release. This first release focuses on Sims connected to your household, co-workers they've gotten to know, friends they've met at the gym or library, maybe that one Sim who welcomed them to the neighborhood with fruitcake. So it looks like story progression is going to be more focused on the Sims that your active Sims know, their friends, which if you're going to start somewhere, that's a good place to start in my opinion. Because if you do only play a single family or maybe a couple of families and you want the rest of the world to move on, you would like for your Sims friends to also have families and have children, for your Sims children to play with and that kind of thing, and not just be random, as so many things in The Sims 4 seem to be. So I'm happy that they do have some kind of like starting point for this. In the same way that your Sims change as they move through their life, these neighbor Sims are getting some new life changes of their own, such as choosing a new career or having a baby. Doesn't say anything about marriage. Hopefully they can get married too. Future updates will build on this with more life changes for a wider range of Sims. So what's the Neighborhood Stories gameplay? Neighborhood Stories begins with gameplay divided between life changes that your Sims can influence neighbor Sims to consider, things neighborhood Sims autonomously consider, and some that fall into both categories. The autonomy is what worries me. You know, without seeing this in action, I don't actually know what this means. Does it mean only unplayed households are going to be affected by this? Are you going to be able to turn it on and off for different households? I don't know. Let's keep reading. Whether they consider a life change autonomously or under the influence from your Sims, neighbor Sims ultimately decide to initiate life changes themselves. That means that these changes happen without any need to switch to another household. Yes, we know what story progression means. Thank you. Maybe not everybody does. Okay, maybe not. What if I don't want Sims to autonomously change? Yes, that is my question. Let's see. Everyone has a unique vision for their Sims, and some of you have poured lots of time and love into multi-household, multi-generational saves. All along, we've worked with the explicit goal, you choose how neighborhood stories affect your game. All right, that's sounding good to me. Okay, the two ways this happens are you direct one of your Sims to influence a neighbor Sim to consider a life change, or a neighbor Sim autonomously considering a life change will always call one of your Sims to ask for input before taking any action. Okay, this sounds annoying. This sounds like it's going to be a lot of annoyance to me. Okay, you choose the outcome by directing your Sim to say yes, no, or leaving it up to the neighbor Sim to decide. I do like that you could leave it up to the neighbor Sim to decide or choose yes or no. But having them call you every time they want to make a major life decision seems very unrealistic. Like, my neighbor doesn't call me before they get married and ask my permission. Hey, Cindy, I know that I've only met you in passing a couple times, but I just want to know if it's okay with you if I bone my husband and get knocked up. All right, cool. All right, yeah. All right, cool. See you in 9 months. I don't know how I feel about this. I get that they're trying to give you control, but it seems in a very unnatural way. I wish that instead of that, there would be a way to like tick a little box maybe on the neighborhood management screen or whatever it's called where you have all your households. If there was a way for you to like tick a little box to say, yes, this household can have autonomous story progression, or uncheck the box, no, they cannot have autonomous story progression. I think that would be a better way to go about it, because I feel like we're going to get bombarded with annoying calls of our neighbors asking if they can get pregnant or get a job or something. Our intent is to empower you to decide if a life change makes sense in the story your Sims are living out, or to leave that decision up to the neighbor Sim altogether. Are your played households that are not currently active considered neighbor Sims, or is it just the unplayed households? I still don't know that. These life changes actually happen, so they won't occur instantly. Neighbor Sims will keep your Sim posted with updates. Yay. Okay, all right. I don't know the full story, so I'm not going to give my final judgment. Let's keep reading. Autonomous or active Sim-influenced life changes. The wording is really clunky. This clunky wording, but I don't know how else you would say it, so. Neighbor Sims may consider these life changes independently, or your Sims may try to convince them to change their current career to a different one. Okay. Have a baby with their partner if they are in a relationship where either Sim can become pregnant, or hang out with other Sims to form or deepen friendly relationships. So what about romantic relationships? It seems kind of odd that they're like, they can have a baby with their partner, but they don't form partnerships without you? I see nothing about romantic relationships. That's kind of strange. Okay, autonomous only life changes. Neighbor Sims can only undergo these life changes independently, but they'll check with a Sim in the active household beforehand. They'll call you. Don't worry. They just need a little confidence boost. So try to get promoted in their current career, or accept a marriage proposal. If they are already engaged to another Sim, neighbor Sims will not autonomously get married for now. That's weird to me. Like, then what's the point? So basically, it's getting promoted in a career or trying for baby. That's it? or accept a marriage proposal if they're already engaged, which means you'd have to play them to get them engaged to another sim, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. Am I missing something? Active sim influenced life changes. Your sims can do these things to cause life changes for neighbor sims. Okay, trash talk one sim to another, which will greatly reduce the relationship between those two neighbor sims. I like that. Try to get 2 grown-up sims or 2 teen sims to form a romantic relationship. Okay, so you can influence 2 sims to form a romantic relationship. I mean, that's something, I guess, but I don't know. I'm really feeling odd about the inability for sims. If we're gonna have story progression, we might as well just have all-out story progression. Let your sims form romantic relationships with other sims on their own. But you either have to like basically force that by convincing them to get together or go play them and make them get together. I don't know, y'all. It just feels like something's missing so far to me. But again, I don't have the whole story. Try to convince a sim in a relationship to dump or divorce their partner. Encourage an unemployed neighbor sim to find a job. So they also won't even find jobs on their own. Okay, I started out a little bit hopeful for this, but now I'm just feeling like this is going to be really half-assed and not very fun. I think it's going to depend on your playstyle, how you feel about this. Some people are probably really going to love this, and that is perfectly fine and cool. I don't want to come off as like I'm trashing somebody if they enjoy this kind of gameplay. I'm not. I know that everybody plays differently. Everybody has fun in a different way. For the way I personally play, this does not appeal to me, this active sim influence life changes, because I don't like to actively influence my sims' lives. I like to let them make their own decisions. And that's something that I've had a big problem with in The Sims 4. And I feel like this is going to make that problem worse. Say I did want to play with story progression and I was just going to play one family, which would likely never happen in my game. But if I did, then if I wanted those families around me to progress, I basically have to decide who their romantic partner should be and go convince them to be in a romantic relationship with that person. Or I have to decide if they should divorce that person and go convince them to get divorced. Or I have to decide that they should find a job and go convince them to get a job. And that kind of gameplay does not appeal to me personally. I'm wondering if you can turn this off altogether. Okay, but again, I do not have the full story and I don't know how this is going to play out in game. I may be missing things. There may be things that they're not, telling us here. So this is just a reaction and a speculation to the information that I have in front of me. So keep that in mind. There's also going to be new aspirations. To celebrate these new and improved gameplay moments, we're adding 2 new aspirations. Neighborhood Confidant. You're a pal and a is for Sims who aspire to be a helpful and positive presence in the lives of neighbor Sims. Making friends and guiding others towards life changes will earn the new Confidant trait, which increases the chances of conversations being pleasant. I mean, that's a cool trait. That's not a terrible aspiration. You're not going to be able to use this if you're not interested in using the story progression. But if you are, I guess it's a nice aspiration. Villainous Valentine is for Sims who aspire to destroy the love lives of all Sims, including their own. Have your Sim break up with someone. Have them break up other couples. Sims that walk this deviant path will earn the new Twisted Heart trait. Well, that's kind of an interesting aspiration. I kind of like that. That's something very different, which makes all sad and embarrassed moodlets decay faster and provides a little bonus social when performing mean or mischief socials. That might be kind of fun to play. I don't think the aspirations are too terrible if you're going to be using this neighborhood stories gameplay as it is created. All this new and improved gameplay is available to everyone as part of the base game. That's nice. It doesn't require any additional content to fully experience. Everything here also works with existing saves. No new game required. That's nice that they're going to make it available to everyone. You don't have to buy anything else. Neighborhood stories will be part of the base game update arriving November 30th. Keep an eye out here for more details on that update. So get ready for mods to be broken beyond recognition. Once you have that, your Sims need to form at least one friendship outside the household. Okay, so they have to form a friendship outside the household, and then story progression is going to take hold just based on that friend. It's not like you're going to get bombarded with every household. It's just going to be the Sims that your Sim is friends with to start with. So I guess that's a little bit less overwhelming than what I was originally envisioning. For autonomous life changes, neighbor Sims consider them depending on factors like traits, meaning not all Sims will consider every life change. That's nice. That's nice. You'll need to wait for neighbor Sims to consider a change, but having Sims with more friends at higher relationship levels will increase the chances for life changes to happen. We've really tried to balance neighbor Sim life changes happening at an interesting pace without being too spammy or repetitive. Well, I'm glad they have thought of that and that they have considered that, so maybe it's not going to be too bad. For life changes that your Sims can try to influence, here's a breakdown. To have your Sim influence positive change in neighbor Sims' lives, look for these new and updated friendly socials, ask so-and-so to pursue dream job, discuss expanding the family, talk up another Sim, hook up with. So it's kind of like the influence system in The Sims 2, only it has much more drastic outcomes. To have your Sim try to harm neighbor Sims' relationships, look for these updated mean socials. Trash another Sim or break up with. What's coming in the future? Let's talk about the future of neighborhood stories by returning to the main goal. Bring more life to neighbor Sims that live outside the active household. In a future update, we will realize that goal more broadly with the following. Life changes for all neighbor Sims, with or without relationships in the active household. Gameplay settings to tune life changes neighborhood Sims can and cannot have. Yes! Okay, this is what it needs. And this is not what's going to be there in the beginning. So this makes me think I probably will not be able to play Sims 4 until this change comes. Controls are layered, allowing a mix and match of rules down to individual households. Okay, I need it on an individual household level so that I can just disable it for everyone and continue playing my little rotational game. You know, I could see this being useful if I ever did want to just play a single family legacy, like a random legacy challenge, perhaps, which I do from time to time play, but I do need those controls. I need to be able to choose exactly which households are going to participate in this, or to be able to just disable it completely. Because if not, I feel like it's taking too much control away from me and how I like to play the game. I do appreciate that they are considering that and thinking about that. I don't know when the future is. Does this mean we're going to get this in a month, in a year? Like, when is this? Because I'm afraid that this is going to ruin my ability to play The Sims 4 even more. I'm not going to be able to play it all until I get that kind of control that I want. Maybe a mod will come out before. Those familiar with The Sims 3 are probably reminded of story progression. Both story progression and neighborhood stories allow Sims all over the game to experience life changes. However, I want to highlight two key differences. Well, when I first heard neighborhood stories, I thought story progression, but as I'm reading this, it is not the same as story progression. But anyway, this blog post says story progression is one giant system that can only be turned on or off, leaving many players feeling like they must choose between a chaotic world and a boring one. Not if you use mods, though. Neighborhood stories adds the rich gameplay settings I mentioned above, alleviating the issue while solving for the goal. You choose how neighborhood stories affects your game. Yes, eventually, it seems like. It seems like when this first is going to be released next week, we're not going to have that much choice over it. And that's a little worrying to me. And it also does not feel complete. Like, it's not a complete story progression. It's just a couple of things, which I appreciate the fact that they're trying to take their time and do this right. But are they, or is that just what they're saying to justify releasing a half-ass feature? That's always the question I ask myself when it comes to The Sims 4. I don't know the answer. Number 2, story progression can affect a wide range of factors. In The Sims 3, at the start, neighborhood stories will have a much smaller range of life changes. This is because most of the work we're doing now is on the underlying systems that drive these life changes, plus the gameplay settings we just talked about. That means better tools to create better gameplay. But first, we have to do the work. Yes. So please do the work before you release the feature. Please. All right, this is a lot to think about, and I have to say, I don't personally find this very appealing for my personal gameplay style. I kind of feel that I'm going to be forced to deal with some features that I don't like for a while in the game, such as friends of my Sims calling my Sim and asking if they can get married, which sounds very annoying to me. Again, they did say they were working on making it not very repetitive, so maybe they have, taken that into consideration. The inability for Sims to form romantic relationships on their own as part of story progression is a little bothersome to me. And these are just my first feelings upon looking at this and reading this. I honestly don't know how it's going to play out in the game. So just keep that in mind. This is just first impression, first reaction. And I still, after reading all that, I'm not clear on if this will impact played households that are not currently active. So let's say I'm playing a household. I have 2 households. I'm playing both of them. Only one of them is active, and both households are friends with each other. Is the other played household going to be subject to these changes? Will the other played household call me up and ask if they can get married or get a job? Or are they exempt from this? Does it have to be an unplayed household? That wasn't clear to me. If I missed that or you know the answer to that, please leave a comment and let me know, because that is going to make a huge difference in how I feel about this. Because if it is sort of forcing my played households into these changes, or even into the ability to consider these changes without my input, that's going to be a big deal breaker for me. Again, I just want to say I understand some people might be very happy about this, and that is totally cool if you think this sounds great for your type of gameplay. Not putting you down or anything. It's just can only approach this from the way I like to play as a primarily Sims 2 rotational play type of simmer. So now I would love to hear what you guys think about this. First impressions, first thoughts. Are you happy about this? Which group are you in? Are you excited? Are you disappointed? Are you neutral? Do you not care? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. And when this comes out next week, I will try to make another video. If you guys want to see that, we can kind of review it and see exactly how it's going to work in the game, because I'm sure that we don't have all the information right now. I just wanted to kind of get this out there with my first thoughts and see what how the community feels about this. So let me know, make your voice heard down in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching my little my little rant here. I really appreciate you tuning in. And if you liked this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I will see you guys with a new video very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!